Hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. Today we'll be talking about The Force Awakens, surprise, and it turns out that it's rated PG-13. And in case you guys didn't know, this is the second Star Wars movie to be rated PG-13, the only other one being Revenge of the Sith. And that's not really as surprising to me as it might be. I was kind of expecting it to kind of get that rating as well at this point because, I don't know, it seems like they kind of want to push it to be a little bit more for older audiences, and PG-13 just seems like it might be more than just the PG rating at this point.
Not only that, Phantom Menace, it doesn't surprise me that Phantom Menace was PG, but, it was pushing up PG. You know, you see Qui-Gon get stabbed and stuff like that.
But of all the movies, that's the most probably kid-friendly, because it's about Anakin as a kid, right? Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, I was very surprised to find that be a PG movie. I think they gave it a PG just because the other films have been PG, but you see Anakin's mom, she's tied up, and there's all kinds of implications about nasty stuff going on there. You see Jango Fett get decapitated, but he's helmeted, so it's not a human face, so you can kind of get away with it. Yeah. But that's the hardest PG I've seen in a very, very long time. Yeah, possibly since Beetlejuice when he drops the F-bomb in the PG movie.
Yeah. Definitely not Revenge of the Sith, though, with Anakin getting his limbs cut off and left burning alive and stuff, and you see his skin melt. It's they're definitely okay, man. You know, we let you get you some leeway in the last movie, but not this one for sure. Yeah. You know, PG-13 hard.
Well, George Lucas, there was an interview with 60 Minutes in 2005 where George Lucas is he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be PG-13. I could probably dial it back a little bit, but it would hurt the movie.
I mean, that's the strongest. It's one of the strongest scenes in the whole prequel. Exactly. You want to see him actually get hurt because it's supposed to mean a lot.
It has to be traumatic.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, the reason the other films, the original trilogy, was PG was because at that time there was no such rating as PG-13. It was either restricted or it was PG, and PG meant parental guidance. It's you're not going to see people being tortured to death and limbs being cut off, and gore and swearing and nudity, but parental guidance is suggested. This is Jaws, for example, was PG, and you see a child get eaten alive, you see a guy's leg get ripped off and
blood stuff. Emerging from the water as someone dies, right?
But that's you don't have to be an adult to watch that. If you're 14 years old, you can handle that.
Yeah.
So it was either you have to be 18 plus or under 18 plus. And if you're under 18 plus, it's okay, a 13-year-old can see it, but parental guidance is suggested if you want your kid to see this. And the thing is, when Star Wars was first released, they gave it a G rating because Star Wars, you see Aunt and Uncle Owen get burned alive, and but
I mean, just the skeleton afterwards. But I mean that's kind of
But relative to The Godfather and Last House on the Left and stuff like that, that's not that bad. It's a PG or it's
fight,
a G.
Yeah, the fight with Obi-Wan and as well. When he gets hit, he just becomes a robe and doesn't even get to see anything get dismembered or anything at that point.
And so when they first submitted Star Wars to the Motion Picture Association of America, MPAA, they're the guys that rate the films in the United States. They're yeah, sure, it's like a Disney film. They gave it a G. And this is the only time in history I've ever heard of this where they appealed it and they're no, we don't want a G. If we give the G, people are going to think it's for babies or kids. Give us a PG, the same rating as Jaws and a bunch of other movies. It's for adults and kids. So that's the only time I've heard of them trying to amp up a rating. Because they felt it would turn people off if it was G. So okay, PG. Yeah. And the other films followed suit. And
this one's rated PG-13 for science fiction violence, whatever.
That's
that
the
means.
official description. I
don't know. It's a blaster kind of shot to someone and falling over, dying. Is it's science fiction violence, but it's not blood squirting out everywhere and stuff. Yeah.
It probably will be on the same level of darkness as maybe Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Clean violence more or less, but maybe psychologically it's a little heavy in places.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's explosions and stuff. But PG-13 today is kind of what PG was in the 70s. So it's or early 80s. And it's ironic that George Lucas in a way was responsible for PG-13 because when him and Steven Spielberg were making Temple of Doom, they gave it an R rating. Because you see a guy's heart getting ripped out, and they're eating snakes and stuff like that. Children are being whipped.
It's definitely a darker of the Indiana Jones trilogy, but it was but the one before that was kind of made for not necessarily family friendly, but kind of as an action film for a lot of people to enjoy. So to give the second one a hard R rating is kind of a bit strict, right? When you're kind of everyone else liked it back when they were 13 could watch the first one. Why can't they watch this one?
Yeah. So Spielberg and Lucas were okay. give us PG, and in return, we'll work with you guys to establish some sort of rating that it's too hard for PG, but it's not quite an R. And out of that was, and also Poltergeist, which Spielberg produced, also was another one where it was like a hard PG.
We want to show people eating brains. We want to be able to let 13-year-olds see this.
Yeah. So anyway, Force Awakens, PG-13, shouldn't be surprising. I don't think it's going to be much different than any of the other previous films.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing that kind of raises the question is, are we going to see something as graphic as, like, Anakin's arms getting cut off and burned alive? Are we going to see something that graphic? I don't know. I think they're just going to start sticking with PG-13 and just give themselves leeway and stay that whole rating the next trilogy.
I think every single Star Wars film from here on out will be PG-13.
And that's kind of all the major releases now are PG-13 at this point.
Transformers,
Iron Man and stuff like that.
Wasn't even Ninja Turtles PG-13, the Michael Bay one?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And that was fairly family friendly.
Yeah, even all the superhero movies are PG-13 and everything, and those are like kind of not necessarily family friendly, but they're good enough, I guess.
8-year-olds go to see them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there you go. Force Awakens, PG-13. See you guys next time.
There you go.
There you go.
Done. You guys fucking happy?